If you put money down on problems occurring before AEW Collision and the debut show on Saturday night, you'd probably be looking at some nice cold, hard cash on this Thursday afternoon. We are legitimately 2 nights away from the debut of AEW Collision, the return of CM Punk, the main event of CM Punk FTR against Bullet Club Gold, Jay White, Rock Hard, Juice Robinson, and Samoa Joe. Everybody's excited about it. I'm excited. AEW's excited. Warner Media's excited. But there are problems on this Thursday afternoon, and it all stems around CM Punk. This is coming from Wade Keller and his VIP PW Torch podcast. He said this in a very cryptic note on this Thursday afternoon. CM Punk apparently is in hot water, or will be in hot water. I am under the impression between now and Saturday, says Wade Keller, that there's going to be something that comes out that media-wise is not going to help any matters at all. I don't mean to be cryptic, but I haven't heard the details or seen enough to say much, but I just don't know. I just think it's going to be one of those weeks. I'll put it that way. From what I'm hearing behind the scenes in AEW, it's going to be one of those weeks. 2 nights, and we have Punk returning, and there are problems. Everybody was wondering what was going on. I even looked at this before the follow-up from Fightful. I looked at this, and I'm saying to myself, this has to be a smear campaign against CM Punk. The army and the brigade is out right before the show debuts on TNT. Of course, there's got to be some negative news in the press, in the media, about CM Punk that's not going to make the locker room or AEW happy. That's just the way things have been. Punk comes back. Punk is introduced back to television. Now there's a problem, and something was said along the lines, and now it's going to cause a big stir. This follow-up is coming from Fightful. Apparently, it all started with Kenta and CM Punk. There was a rumor last week that Tony Khan wanted to book CM Punk and Kenta at the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. Punk was not thrilled with working with Kenta, and he may come across badly in an interview. There's more to this than just CM Punk and Kenta. Fightful is told that an ESPN interview is supposed to drop sometime soon between now and the debut of AEW Collision, where Punk was talking about a number of topics. Among those topics was the Elite, and word got back to several on the roster at the January 14th AEW Dynamite last night, and some of it didn't go over well based on secondhand reports of what Punk said, which could be seen as his version of what is true. Fightful's told that AEW did set up this interview and monitored the interview, but that CM Punk spoke in a way that would blur the lines and create buzz for the upcoming shows. Specifically, we heard that he'd answer questions in a way that would make the audience wonder if it was him angling for a story or if he was shooting. We aren't sure what eventually will make it in the final ESPN interview, but Fightful heard that the interview was conducted last week. We're told that Punk was very aware, and it could come off polarizing based on some of his responses. Fightful was also told that Adam Hangman Page was brought up in a manner that absolutely was not confusing in a work-shoot perspective, and were clearly intentional and made very clear that he did not like Adam Hangman Page. Punk has said that there were spots in the Double or Nothing match that he felt like where Page was shooting on him by chopping him in the mouth. Recently, Fightful also reported that CM Punk was sent a series of documents that protected AEW, obviously, if we have another do-over again from the AEW All-Out post-show media scrum. AEW is definitely being cautious with this and have covered all their bases in case that situation or something like that happens again. Wade Keller was very cryptic. I said this is nothing more than a smear campaign at this point. Let the fucking guy come back, let him go to work, and let him do what he needs to do for the show and for the company. Fightful has uncovered this, and I am very, very confident that everything that CM Punk will be saying in this ESPN piece, if we do see it before the debut on Saturday night, or if we see it after the debut on Saturday night. I am very, very certain, I would be a betting man myself, that CM Punk is going into business to sell interest in the show, and he's going to sell as if you are getting Punk FTR against the Elite at some point, whether it happens at All In, whether it happens at All Out, or somewhere after both of those super shows this summer for AEW. There is absolutely 0% chance that CM Punk went on an interview with ESPN that was monitored and conducted by AEW, that was watched with eagle eyes by AEW, and he did the thing by going into business for himself and burying the roster again. He is not that stupid. AEW was very cautious by getting the documents signed and by monitoring this interview. They set it up and monitored the interview. Punk is not going to do anything to let Tony Khan down again, this soon anyway. CM Punk is not going to do anything to let Warner Media down, as the reason why CM Punk and Collision are even happening is because Punk himself is a part of the show. Warner Media is not giving AEW another 2 hours of television without CM Punk. Just the way it is. I don't give a shit where you hear, oh yeah, the show would be happening without Punk. No, it wouldn't. AEW would not be getting 2 hours without CM Punk. CM Punk has so much of this revolving around him. There's so much investment from AEW and Warner Media that why would he go and just burn all these bridges down again? This entire interview is going to come off as a shoot, but most of it is going to be a work. Now, I don't know if the match is happening, the match that we all want to see, FTR and CM Punk versus the Elite. We'll know more from this interview, but the fact that he's working this interview, there's definitely a situation where we may be getting this match at some point in the future. Everybody that was in this situation was aware of what was being said. This is how I feel. Punk is working the majority of this interview. The Elite knew what he was going to say. Tony Khan knew what he was going to say. They're not letting CM Punk have the moment to say whatever he wants. Even the promo that he cuts on Saturday night is going to be heavily monitored. It better be. You can't send Punk out there with a free microphone. Yeah, go out there and say whatever the fuck you want. Not going to happen. Everything in this interview is going to be coming off as a shoot, but in reality, it's a work. That's what they want you to think. AEW is one of those companies, man. They kind of ingrain themselves in blurring the lines more than any other wrestling promotion that I've ever seen, ever. They want you to think that shit's going down. They want you to think that there's drama. They want you to think that there are problems in the locker room. They feel like this garners more interest from the fans. Some of it does, some of it doesn't. Some people like it, some people are turned off by it. Some people want to see CM Punk back, some people don't want to see CM Punk back and will not watch AEW because he is being brought back. It's a very divisive situation. I don't know how AEW is going to handle this and trust CM Punk for the long term, but there's no fucking way that I'm going to sit here and tell you guys that I believe CM Punk is already going into business for himself when the show is happening on Saturday night because of CM Punk. He's been gifted so much responsibility that I don't see him just taking that, crumbling it up, and throwing it away. This soon anyway. Is he a ticking time bomb? Yes. We are to think he is a ticking time bomb because he hasn't proven to us otherwise. But there's a reason why this show is happening, and it's because of CM Punk. And CM Punk is not a fucking idiot where he's going to completely destroy the image of AEW and bury everybody again like he did it all out. This is a complete work, and I'm very interested. I mean, this whole story got me into. I didn't even know there was an ESPN interview coming. That's a big deal. That is a major deal. I'm interested now in seeing what CM Punk has to say on this interview. So, job well done. They got my interest, and I'm sure they got your interest as well leading into Saturday night. Speaking of the Elite, we got contract news on what's going on with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, Adam Hangman Page as well. They've all been negotiating new AEW contracts this year. Fightful asked for an update this week, and they got it. Fightful was told that the deals are not done yet. However, both sides have felt like several deals had been close, with one side noting that could be right now for several months, and not a lot has changed on that front. Those that we spoke to within AEW were confident that they'd retain the Elite despite CM Punk returning to the company. We've not been given any update on the Elite and their willingness to work with Punk, though creative is planned for several of them for quite some time. Adam Page, Omega, and the Bucks have all retained Barry Bloom to represent them. It's worth noting that Omega had time added to his deal due to missing action with an injury. At this point, between injury, time, and options and other variables, with all four wrestlers, it's tough to determine when exactly each deal is coming up. Fightful's told that WWE is absolutely interested in all four talents in the event that they do become free agents, but they don't really expect that to happen, and WWE are nowhere near being legally allowed to talk to any of them. There were rumors that the Young Bucks had reached out to WWE last year, but sources close to them denied that. We're told that most people in AEW expect that each man will remain in AEW on significant money increases. Now, the whole CM Punk thing is a narrative that a lot of people are looking at when it comes to Adam Page, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks. CM Punk being brought back obviously is going to ruffle a couple of feathers, and it was the story back a couple of months ago that if Punk is being brought back, this may drive all of the Elite to go sign with WWE. Now, I don't see that happening, and I do think that they'll use this situation as a potential to make more money. Seriously. Now, if Punk is making $5-6 million a year and he's the biggest paid star in the company, you better believe that the Elite are going to try and get close to that, and they're going to try and get big money deals. Now, if I was them, if I was the Elite, I'm using all this to my advantage. I'm using WWE to my advantage. I'm using CM Punk being brought back by Tony Khan and AEW to my advantage. Because you know for a fact Tony Khan wants CM Punk and the Elite to work a program together. You know this for a fact. I would bet money on it that Tony Khan wants it to happen. Can it happen? I don't know. Does it look likely it will happen? I don't know. Everything is so blurred in AEW, you don't know what the fuck is happening. You don't know what's happening and what's not happening. But if I'm the Elite, I'm using this to my advantage. Hey, man, you want me to work with this guy? Pay me some more money and up the ante on the contract. I'll work with him if I'm being paid to do so. That's the way I do it. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but CM Punk is a big, big deal on why the Elite supposedly aren't going to be coming back to AEW, and I don't see that happening. I do think that they'll be back with AEW. This is their biggest year. They have the biggest show in their entire history at Wembley Stadium in London with 70,000 people. They have a $9 million plus gate for it. They have all the momentum that they can have this summer with Punk coming back. They got a full roster, a brand new show, all in, all out. They got the show in Queens, Grand Slam. I mean, it's going to be a tremendous summer for AEW. Sting's retirement, possibly Bill Goldberg coming in, Forbidden Door, Sasha Banks coming in. There's so much that AEW is possibly going to be involved in. Why would they want to leave? If they leave, it is going to be a black eye on AEW, and it's something that I don't think the company can recover from, especially in a year where their video game is coming out. Kenny Omega's a part of the video game. You're going to have all the EVPs, one of which was ingrained in the fucking production of the game, go to the enemy team, go to the opposite side and play for the other team, go to WWE. I don't see that happening. I don't see the Elite and Adam Page doing that to Tony Khan. That would be one of the dirtiest fucking moves in the history of pro wrestling. I just don't see it happening. But if I'm them and Tony Khan wants this match to happen with the Elite and CM Punk, I'm using this to my advantage if I'm the Elite. Hey, you want me to work with this guy? Pay me more money, and then we'll make it happen. It's the way I'm doing it. But the Elite, in my honest opinion, will be staying with AEW for the long haul. They will retire with All Elite Wrestling. That's all the news I got, guys. I will be back with more. There is plenty more coming, so stay tuned right here to the podcast. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Please hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Go check out all the other content. We were live on Monday for Raw. We were live on Tuesday with the debut episode of Tuesday Night Titans. Go check that out. Me and Andrew Baydala, my guy Ticket Drew. We got a brand new show on Tuesday night. Doing very well. Thank you for all the support there. And Wednesday, Jesse and I were live for the AEW Dynamite post show. One of the best Dynamites of the entire year. Go check all that stuff out. And I will see you guys next live for Friday Night SmackDown on Saturday afternoon. Keep an eye on social media for all the updates. House of Glory live on Premier Network on Friday night. That's where I'll be. And live SmackDown and live Collision post shows on Saturday night. Hit that thumbs up, guys, and show your support for the video. I'll be back with more news right here on OTS.